Hey, welcome! So in a world that is just constantly pulling for our attention, trying to find a real, deep sense of purpose can feel, well, next to impossible, right? Today, we're going to dig into some ancient wisdom that gives us a powerful game plan for building a mind that is truly, truly steadfast.
You know, the scripture we're looking at today, it doesn't mess around. It gets right to the heart of everything with one single profound question. It basically asks, what's the real deal? What is the absolute core of a genuine spiritual path? And honestly, the answer it gives, it might just flip your whole perspective.
And here it is. This is it. This is the key to everything. Now, the idea isn't that you have to somehow force your mind to be empty. No. It's about letting it be so fluid, so open, that it doesn't get stuck on anything. It doesn't abide in or cling to an object, or a feeling, or even a really great idea. This is the foundation we're going to build on today. Okay, so if the goal is this mind that abides nowhere, what's stopping us? Well, the scripture points to one fundamental problem. It's a mental habit that's so deep, so automatic, we barely even notice we're doing it. Let's call it the trap of grasping.
So what is grasping or attachment? It's that moment our mind latches onto something and basically says, this is solid, this is real, this is mine. You know that feeling? It could be grasping a compliment and replaying it over and over, or obsessing over a mistake you made, or even just clinging to the idea of who you think you are. And the scripture is super clear, this one mental habit is the root of all our suffering.
And here's how that works. It's like a chain reaction. See, the problem isn't the thought itself. Thoughts just happen. The problem is the moment we mentally grab it. The instant we clench our mental fist around an idea, the text says we're immediately hit with the classic poisons: greed, anger, and ignorance. And just like that, we're trapped in a cycle of suffering.
And here's where it gets really, really tricky. You might think, okay, I'll stop grasping for a new car and start grasping for spiritual progress instead. But the text warns us, nope, that's a trap too. Even our highest, most noble goal, like enlightenment, becomes just another source of stress and suffering if we turn it into this rigid thing we have to get.
This is probably my favorite analogy in the whole text. It just captures the absurdity of it all so perfectly. We think we're out here wrestling with the world, right? Fighting with our boss, our family, our circumstances. But really, we're just in a dark room, shadowboxing with our own mind. The only person we're fooling is ourselves.
All right, so we've seen the problem pretty clearly. But what's the alternative? What do we do instead? Well, this is where the scripture lays out this powerful vision of what our mind can become: stable, resilient, and just completely unwavering. We're not just talking about being motivated for a week or two. The steadfast mind is this deep, unshakable resolve. Think of it as the mindset of a bodhisattva, someone whose goal is to wake up not just for themselves, but for the benefit of every single being. It's a commitment so profound that it can weather any storm, across a timescale that is, well, it's almost impossible for us to even wrap our heads around. And to give us a sense of that scale, the text uses this staggering image: eons as countless as the grains of sand in the Ganges River. Just try to picture that for a second. The point isn't about literally waiting that long. It's about cultivating a vision and a resolve that completely transcends our tiny, ordinary sense of time and what we think we'll get out of it. So let's put these two mindsets side by side. The wavering, slothful mind is always second-guessing. Am I doing this right? Will I succeed? Am I good enough? It just gets totally paralyzed by doubt. The steadfast mind, though, it's not even bothered by those questions. It acts from a place of deep purpose, trusting the path itself, whether it sees results today or not. Which side of this chart feels more familiar to you?
Okay, I know this can all sound pretty high-level and abstract, but the scripture brings it right back down to earth. This steadfast mind isn't built on some remote mountaintop. It's forged in the small actions of our everyday lives. And the text specifically says this is true for lay practitioners, people like us living right here in the middle of it all. So the path starts with 3 really clear, actionable things to do. First, actively work on cultivating kindness towards everyone, not just the people you like, everyone. Second, for people who are scared or anxious, be a source of safety. Offer them fearlessness. And third, instead of hoarding what you know, create opportunities for wisdom to be shared.
And, just as important as what you do is what you decide not to do. The text is very direct here. It says, don't get involved in human trafficking.
Don't block other people from accessing wisdom. And avoid places where causing harm is normalized, like slaughterhouses. The underlying principle here is actually pretty simple, but so profound. Just stop causing harm.
Then the text gives this really unique, really powerful practice to make sure you don't slip backwards into old habits. It says, start at home. Start with your own parents. If they lack faith, help them find it. If they're acting in ways that cause harm, gently guide them. If they're caught up in greed, inspire them to be generous. It makes the whole path incredibly personal.
And as we start to wrap up, the scripture brings us right back to the core teaching. The aggregates, which is basically just a word for all the stuff that makes up our experience. Our thoughts, feelings, perceptions, are described as being like a dream. They feel so real, so solid, but they have no real substance. Remembering this is the secret to letting go, to stop grasping.
So we'll leave you with this final, piercing question from the text. It asks us to look with total honesty at the fleeting nature of our lives, this burning fire, and then it hits us with the challenge. Knowing this, where are you still trying to find lasting pleasure? That's a powerful question to sit with. Thanks for digging into this with us.